Well, hello today, Gloria. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm okay.
You're
I
okay.
guess.
You guess, I know, right? We're all okay. Thank you for joining me. This is a counseling session, and we are very happy. I'm very happy that you're here, and we're going to talk about a few things today. So, you say you're doing okay. Are there things on your mind? Or...
I am so stressed out right now. I just have so many things on my mind, so many things I've got to do. I'm being
Right.
pulled so many different ways
I
that
know.
I'm just going crazy.
I know, right? This is life. This is life. But there's a way we could do things calmly. There's a way we could work through things, and
I certainly hope so.
you know, I do believe there's. I know so. As a matter of fact, we need to take things one day at a time and one moment at a time, and we need to sort of lay out our plan for the week, which I'm going to help you with. I think you will find this makes life a lot easier and more peaceful and calmer for you. And that's what we want. That's what I want for everyone, and you're no exception. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to give you a little exercise to do. This is basically sort of helps everyone sort of look at their life, look at the week ahead, and just sort of hone down to really what they need to be thinking about or doing. So I'm going to give you one, and I have one. What we'll do is we're going to read this together before you start to do the exercise.
Okay.
Let's all put our eyes on. So, as you see, there is a cloud, there's a raindrop, there's a lightning bolt, and there is an umbrella, and there's a hand holding the umbrella. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read what's in each of these, because each of these is kind of a focus, what you're going to focus on, and you're going to do a little writing. Okay?
Okay.
But I'm going to read them out loud just so we know we're on the same page, so we know there are no questions later. So the first one is a cloud. So the first one says, what is the looming trouble in your life? Okay? You can start thinking about things now. It's okay. I'm just going to go through them all, and then we're going to go back and do them. Okay, so that's one thing to think about, and that I see that's on the top. The cloud is on the top. And then underneath it are these other elements, and there's some raindrops, and then it says draw right 3 smaller obstacles in 3 different raindrops. We're going to go back and talk about that. And then there's a lightning bolt, and the lightning bolts, it says what zaps your ability to hold up your umbrella. And then there's an umbrella, and in the umbrella it says what protects you from some small obstacles. And then there's a hand holding the base of the umbrella, and that says, who holds up your umbrella? So that's a lot, but we're going to break it down. We're going to do one by one. So let's do number 1. Have your pen. We're going to do number 1 right now. What is the looming trouble in your life? So why don't you go ahead and write that down. Okay, so why don't you share what you wrote down for that?
Elder care.
Elder care. Okay, so this is elder care for a member of your family.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, I understand that that is a big deal. But what we do is when we look at things like that, we look at it's like this cloud, it's a big thing, right? But when you break it down into smaller elements, you tend to look at it in a different way. So that's what we're going to do here with the raindrops, okay? So with the raindrops, it says draw right 3 smaller obstacles in 3 different raindrops. So in obstacles, we're going to take it in a broader sense. We're going to take it to mean responsibilities. So, or it could be an obstacle. It could be someone isn't getting back to you. It could be a price. It could be anything. So why don't you see there are different raindrops. Why don't you take the other 3 different raindrops and write down either a true obstacle or a responsibility that you have, and we'll see if we can work through that.
Just 1 or all 3?
All 3. So just pick 3 different drops, and it's 3 obstacles or 3 responsibilities. Okay. So, do you want to read them to me?
Brother, money, aunt.
Okay. All right. So, let's look at them one on one. Your brother. So, tell me, how is he an obstacle? Is he a responsibility? He could be both.
He's both.
He's both. Okay. All right. So, what you want to do is you want to say how it would be. You could say it or you could write it. You want to think, what if he wasn't an obstacle? Our responsibilities are our responsibilities. But what if he wasn't an obstacle? For instance, in the next week, if you had it your way, if it worked out the best way for you, what would you want from him, even if it's him to be in peace where he is? You could tell me all that.
To be in peace.
To be in peace wherever he is. Okay. So let's try to hold this. Let's try to hold that thought, and let's just sort of put that out there that would be the best thing for you. And you could go back to this. You could write that down. But sometimes when we think thoughts, other people perceive them. So let's just put that as an intention that you want him to be in peace wherever he is. Okay. So
Well, he's in the hospital.
he's in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I have known people who have been in the hospital, and they do sort of pick up on. We do talk to them, so the best way to serve them, I have found, is to sort of think the best thoughts and be supportive of them. You could be supportive of him, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So is that how you would be? Is that what you would do anyway?
Yes.
You would be supportive of him? Okay. So does it help you in the fact that you would be supportive of him? Does that help clear that up a little?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So what's the other one? So name the second one just on your list.
Money.
Money, okay. Do you have sources for money?
Yeah, I have part-time job and SSI to live on.
Okay. So is this money for you or for
That's for me.
me? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right. So do you want to do the same thing? Do you want to see your life in the next week? Do you see yourself doing what you need to do, getting things done?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay, that makes you feel a little better.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was a last thing you had on there. There was one more.
My aunt.
Your aunt. Okay. So what are your feelings about her?
Dementia.
Okay. Dementia. Okay. So I know it's a tough one, right? A tough one, right? And complete the sentence. I feel blank about my aunt on a daily basis.
Unsure.
You feel unsure. Okay. All right. Now, what can you do, even in the unsure situation? What have you done? What are the steps that you've taken in the past, and what has worked for you when you feel unsure?
Just be supportive.
Be supportive. Right. Right. Would you, if you tell yourself, sometimes I tell myself things that everything's okay. I take a breath and I
Yes.
say everything's okay. Does that help a little?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. So there's a lot of things we could do now, right? We could do it here. Let's sum them up. We can send support. As you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can name a couple other things that you have on there. We could send support. And what happens when you're unsure about your aunt? What do you do?
I support her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the money?
And the money just to make sure that my job is stable.
Okay. And do you have a stable job?
I hope.
We hope. Okay.
One never knows.
One never knows. However, let me ask you a question. Are you a survivor?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely, right. So you've been...
I will survive.
You will survive.
Yes.
And that's a good statement to know. That's a good statement to know about. Okay. So make you feel a little better. Moving on. So there's a cloud, and there's the raindrop, and then there's a lightning bolt. So we're going to read what the lightning bolt says. You're going to do an exercise on that. So what zaps your ability to hold up your umbrella? Now, your umbrella, in this case, is sort of your protection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your protection is kind of like your peace, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So just think about in the past week, because we want to anticipate anything that could happen in the next week. So what zaps your ability to hold your umbrella? What zaps your ability to do everything in peace? What zaps your ability to do everything at the level you want to do it? So take a few minutes to write down, just underneath there, what comes to your mind, the first thing that comes to your mind. And everything that comes to your mind. This is free writing, there's no wrong or right. So stream of consciousness writing. Okay, you seem to be pretty happy. So, why don't you read to me everything you just wrote?
Will that my aunt will be stable for a while, both mentally and physically.
Okay. Okay, so that's what, keeps your equilibrium a little bit off, or your peace a
That's
little bit off?
my zap.
That's your zap. Okay, that's your zap. Okay. Okay, so that's your zap. So, what if you went through the possibilities for the next week? What if you told me what could possibly happen in the next week, and then you told me how you would handle it? Like, just judging this past week, what is something that could happen? Name one thing.
She could fall.
They could fall. Okay, then what would you do?
Call the paramedics.
Call paramedics. Okay. Okay. So, have you done that before?
No.
No. Okay. Have you seen people do that?
Yes.
All right. And you would know how to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So, if you could take a breath. And with that breath, just imagine you pulling from the most positive place of yourself, from the toughest place of yourself, and imagine if that happened, could you handle that?
Yes.
Yes. And how would you feel? How do you feel right now about handling that?
Confident.
Confident. Okay. Okay. So, is there anything else that could happen that might upset you in the next week?
Yeah, they might release my brother from the hospital, but they won't.
But they
Because
won't.
he's too bad off.
Okay. So what could happen is, okay, so they're not going to release him. Okay. So what could happen?
But at some point in time, they will.
They will. Okay.
And where he's going from there is it's a very stressful thought.
Okay, it is. I understand. So how do you feel about all that if you had to put into a feeling?
Anxious.
Anxious. Okay. Anxious. So the other side of anxiety is fear?
Yeah.
A little
Oh,
fear.
yeah.
Okay. So what if you just imagine just for a moment that he's going to be, we don't know yet, but he's going to be in the best place possible for him, where he is getting help. And that should relax you a little.
Yes.
And that would make him feel better. So what would be the best, like, if you could just think of a place, would it be some sort of facility, or at
Yes.
this point a facility?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Okay. So, so basically, we could just sort of think. I like to think of the best thing possible. So the best thing possible, complete this sentence, for your brother would be. Complete the sentence.
To have him put in a permanent facility.
Okay. All right. So now at least we know. Now, because you might be, I don't know, let me ask you a question. Are you sort of afraid in the next week you might get a phone call regarding him? Or at some point, maybe not in the next week, at some point, that about where is he going to be, what's going on with him?
some point in the future, yeah.
At point in the future, yeah. Okay. So whoever calls you, what we decided here is that it would be, now you have a goal with him,
Mhm.
is that he would be someplace in a facility that can help him. So whoever calls you, knowing that is your ultimate goal,
Mhm.
as you've stated.
Yeah, the problem being is that's not what he wants.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
I know. But we can't change anyone else, but we could change how we
Right.
perceive or what we do for other people. So I think you know what to say here. I'm gonna be someone saying, hey Gloria, what do we do with your brother? What's your opinion of what the best thing would be for him? You would say
That he would be placed in a facility permanently.
permanently. Okay,
That way
Let's see
he
what
wouldn't be a danger to himself.
right. Okay, let's see what we could do about that. Now that would be the best ultimate thing, but I think in what we want, I think we should always ask for the best, most ultimate thing. I mean, and then other people what other people do or say is what they do or say. It's just, I think that knowing that, it's the difference between coming from a place of strength or not knowing. You could, if you didn't know or you didn't have that in you, then you could be persuaded, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's important that you know what your view of what the ultimate best thing would be. So do you feel better knowing what the ultimate best thing would be?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So we're getting down here. We're getting down to the umbrella. So we're going to read what the umbrella is now.
Okay.
What protects you from some small obstacles? So what protects you from some small obstacles? One more time. What protects you from some small obstacles? So in other words, these are talking about coping mechanisms.
Mhm.
So why don't you write down, if you need some ideas, you can ask me, write down, okay, when something happens to you, write down what your coping mechanisms are. If you need some suggestions, there's usual coping, it could be anything from watching TV to going out, or just write down 4 things, let's say, that you do when you get news to cope during the week. Or it could be going to church or whatever it is that you use.
Going out, going to church, and friends.
Okay. Now going out, going to church and friends. Now what we're going to do is, that's good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to double back on those concerns that you had on the rain job. So can you see yourself using those coping mechanisms, if I can remember this, on your aunt?
Right.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Can you see using those coping mechanisms if you worry about money?
Okay, the 4th one I'll put job.
Job, okay.
I go to my job sometimes to forget about
Money, I know. Hey, you know what? Here's the thought though. Can you do something? Can you incorporate even your friends without spending any money?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So you could tie those into even that.
Mm-hmm.
And then can you incorporate those coping mechanisms to use on your brother?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So now we sort of have tools to work during the week with your major raindrops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So you feel better knowing you have tools?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So there's one last question. So there's a hand holding up the umbrella. So the question is, who holds up your umbrella? Now, it could be anyone, including yourself. And just answer the question. Just jot down the answer.
Myself.
So the answer is yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a very good answer. So it's good that it's very important because obviously we all need to hold up our own umbrellas.
Mm-hmm.
But can you think of one other person who could help you hold up your umbrella?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's
Definitely.
that's really good for us to know that we can hold up. We all have to hold up.
And my children. My
Your
children,
children.
too. Yeah.
And your children.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good to know coming into the week that you have to. It reminds you. Sometimes it's we all know these things, but sometimes when we get caught up in the moment, we kind of feel like we're alone. Sometimes I feel like we're alone. So this is just to remind us in those moments that we talked about it. You say, "I remember now." You know, just in those moments when we feel alone, just you have your children, you have who else was it? Maybe a friend or someone else came to mind.
Right.
So it's just important to know that when we're clear, see here we're clear, and when we're in the moment, sometimes things get a little lost.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that concludes our exercise intercession for today.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. How do you feel?
I feel so much better.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And thank you. We'll take this up at a later time. Okay.
Okay.
See you later. Thank you.
All right.